414,900 Rand. That's not a negligible amount of money. Luckily in this market, there are a number of options to choose from, especially in the subcompact crossover segment. One of the top selling vehicles in this space is the Hyundai Venue. In this video, we will be reviewing this fluid model by looking at its design, its interior and practicality, how it is to drive, and its price. Without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. On the outside, this car splits opinions. Some like it and some just downright hate it. This is mainly down to its blocky shape, the very shiny grille, and the monobrow at the back. Down the side you have this black cladding which exaggerates the picked up look of the car, and some of the creases over here give the slabby design some character. Because this is the fluid model, visual upgrades include LED daytime running headlights, 16-inch alloy wheels and roof rails. Personally, I kind of like the design of the Venue. Not quite as much as the pre-facelift version when it had all the white highlights, but the design is still fresh and should look good for the next couple of years. But what do you guys think? Do you prefer the look of the Hyundai Venue, or do you like something more rugged like the Suzuki Jimny? Let me know in the comment section below, and while you're at it, please like, share and subscribe. Do all of those YouTube things, I really do appreciate it. Moving to the interior, and it's a decent place to be. Your multifunction steering wheel is wrapped in leather, and behind it you have what we can call a digital display. It doesn't really bother me so much, except for the fact that it reminds me a lot of those small alarm clocks which woke me up in primary school. Also, it's a little bit difficult to read the rev counter when you're on the move. One thing I'm very thankful for is the darker interior that you get on this vehicle. I saw the motion spec to have lighter seats, and this is a bad idea for cloth trim, especially if you're going to use the car for daily driving. In terms of practicality, there are many small spaces to put your belongings. You also have a decently sized glove box, a cup holder in each door bin, and 2 cup holders between your seats. Also, a big shout out to Hyundai for including 3 different methods of charging your devices, namely your USB, USB Type-C, and 12-volt socket, and an even bigger shout out for having one of the clearest reverse cameras I've ever seen on any car. Perhaps one of my least favorite things about this Venue is the infotainment system. While it works well with no lag, it looks a little bit aftermarket, and it makes these annoying beeping sounds every time you do something. I'm pretty sure there is a way that you can turn them off, but it probably needs you to go through even more settings, which means you're going to hear more of them, and I just couldn't. Moving to the back seat, and there's a lot of space in here. The front seat is set in my normal driving position, and there's loads of leg room and knee room. Like the Hyundai i20N line that I reviewed, you only have one pouch behind the passenger seat. You have 2 USB Type-C ports for charging, as well as air vents for the rear passengers. There's also a center armrest which reveals 2 extra cup holders in case the ones in the door bins are already occupied. Moving to the boot, and the Hyundai Venue has 343 liters of cargo space, which is about average for a car of this size. In here you will also find a light, which is always nice to have. If you'd like to load larger items, you can fold down the rear seats. They don't go all the way flat, but I'm happy with the fact that you can have them in a 60-40 split. I was also very happy to find a full-size spare tire under the boot. This is very rare to see in this segment, let alone in any car nowadays. It probably would have been nice to see a full-size alloy wheel, but I'm probably pushing it there. Under the hood of the Hyundai Venue, you will find a 1-liter 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol unit, putting out 88 kilowatts of power and 172 Newton meters of torque. This engine sends power to the front wheels using a 6-speed manual transmission and should do 0 to 100 in 11.3 seconds. Top speed is 183 kilometers per hour, and the fuel consumption is claimed to be 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers. While this number is achievable, if you push this car a little bit, it will reward you with scary numbers. Out on the open road, the Hyundai Venue was a bit of a mixed bag. For example, the driving position wasn't as high riding as I thought it would be. This is not necessarily a bad thing, especially because I prefer myself a small hatchback over crossovers. The disadvantage of the higher driving position is that the car tends to feel less agile than its smaller i20 sibling. But I guess most South Africans are willing to make that compromise, especially given the condition of our roads. While the engine isn't necessarily weak, it didn't perform the way that I thought it would, especially at lower revs. The good news, however, is that the 6-speed manual transmission rewards the driver with very nice shifts and lower fuel consumption. So low, in fact, that I managed to match the manufacturer's claim of 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers. So, what's the damage? If you want to buy a Hyundai Venue 1-liter turbo fluid manual, expect to pay around 414,900 Rand. If you finance this vehicle over 72 months at an interest rate of 11.75% with no deposit and no balloon payments, expect to pay around 8,100 Rand per month. Add 2 full tanks of petrol and your monthly cost should come up to around 10,200 Rand a month. When you buy a new Hyundai Venue, it comes standard with a 3-year 45,000 kilometer service plan and a 7-year 200,000 kilometer manufacturer's warranty. So, what are my final thoughts on the Hyundai Venue? To be honest, it's not what I thought. Not to say that it's a bad car, but it's not exactly the most fun one to drive. Maybe my expectations were a little bit different, but it should be a great car for people who want an all-rounder. Keep in mind that this car is only 35,000 Rand more expensive than the equivalent i20. Whether you think it's worth it or not is up to you. But remember, this car will hold its value better. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. But guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Until the next one, take care and stay driven.
Hyundai. Hyundai.
As much as they say there is no master of pronunciation, I am never going to say it like this. Hyundai icon.